Welcome to your Healing Place podcast with Linda and Mindy. It is our desire to address common concerns of how abortion and faith intersect in order to validate the emotional pain and grief that abortion can bring and give hope that recovery is possible. Well, welcome everybody to your Healing Place podcast with Linda and Mindy. And today we have a special guest. We have Michelle Choate. She is one of our leaders with an Even Place, and she's going to be sharing a little bit of her story and then in some follow-up podcasts, just talking about a couple of topics related to healing and abortion in terms of biblical healing. So welcome, Michelle. I'm so glad you could come and join us.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you talk for a little bit, Michelle, about some of the details that led to the crisis of your abortion and or if you had sexual abuse or other shameful, sexual sin that got you kind of on that road.
Yeah. So I suppose what happened to me was thankfully I wasn't sexually abused as a child, but I had a sister who was,
Mm.
and because I was amongst the my sisters, I have three, and we all have as we've been told, very attractive and beautiful faces. As children, we would be around men who would look at us in very odd ways. I remember being probably only 6 years old and having grown men looking at me in a way that was so ugly and just wanting to hide and be away. Thankfully, they never carried anything out against me or my sisters, not those men in particular. But I think that kind of shaped my view of some of the ugliness that can come with attention. And I'm still kind of that way where I don't like attention from other. I don't like to bring attention to myself, I should say.
Mm. I can relate to that. I don't like I don't know that any woman really likes that ungodly, if you will, and healthy attention that can come. Yeah. That's more
Yeah.
based on sexual attraction than
Yeah.
love or caring or genuine kindness. So what exactly was it that got you on what happened that led to that decision that, oh, you know what, abortion is our only choice?
Um, for me, I think it was mostly trying to stay out of the light. Because I was a young Christian woman and I was supposed to be, acting in righteousness, and I wasn't. And my boyfriend at the time was was pro-abortion. He had had one prior abortion and was just quickly suggested it to me. I also had the social worker at the university medical clinic that I was at, quickly suggested abortion to me. And I was in such fear of also losing my scholarship with the Coast Guard that I thought this is probably the only thing that's going to save me from such shame, and it's going to also save my job
Mm.
because I need to keep going in the Coast Guard. I don't know what they're going to do to me if I'm pregnant and if they're going to kick me out or not. So that was it. A boyfriend who was pro-abortion, people around me, the health clinic worker immediately upon telling me the news that I was pregnant, also offering abortion alternatives, and then just the fear of being found out from my family and the Coast Guard and losing my job.
So you've mentioned fear, right, of losing things. But how did you feel? Other than that, did you, was abortion a choice that you wanted to make? Did
It's,
you believe that abortion was a good, viable choice?
it's definitely not. I knew that this what was happening inside of me was leading to a baby. And I knew that having an abortion was going to stop a baby from coming forth. And I don't know what it was. I think just living through childhood traumas and poor choices as a teenager in regards to sexuality and giving my body away. And then being in a relationship where there was physical, sexual, and psychological abuse was really hurtful
Mm,
and just damaging to my spirit and my own strength and my own voice as a woman. That I felt this better be what happens if I'm gonna save myself in any way. I knew that it was wrong,
mm,
and it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I just felt a lot of pressure that that was probably the only way.
mhm. So at the time of the abortion, what was going on, and what was going on after? How did you feel after in terms of just, yeah, like kind of your emotional state?
Um, I was I had to move on quickly. I had my abortion just a couple days before spring break, and we had plans to go to. I was living in Hawaii on Oahu, and we had plans to go to Maui and enjoy our spring break on one of our friends' family farms in Hana, Maui, and just go exploring and have a ton of fun. And I had found out that I was pregnant right after I turned 20 years old. And I was just very anxious. I didn't want to lose my scholarship. I was in this relationship that was not good for me. And I was doing things that I didn't want to do as a young Christian woman. I did not want to have sex outside of marriage, but I already felt trapped by what had already happened. And I didn't feel like I could stop this relationship. I had basically a record player telling me, "You're not worth anything.
Mm.
You're you're less than."
Mm,
Oh, I love the way you
And
described that, a record player, that message just over and over
mhm,
again. And you
yeah,
probably weren't even really aware at the time of what you were hearing.
no, I just felt absolutely filthy and disgusting.
Mm.
And then the abortion made me feel even worse.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anybody to go to because I didn't ask my sisters for help at all. I didn't tell them anything. And I had just met with them over my birthday weekend. I had flown home to the Big Island to be with my family and celebrate my birthday. My older sister already had a child out of wedlock, and he was beautiful and wonderful. We all enjoyed him. And yet, I made a very sad
mm,
decision to abort my child. And I was just broken. And I remember getting pregnant again within 6 months of that abortion. And when I held that brand new, beautiful baby in my arms, I was in a rage and absolutely
Mm.
gutted
mm.
over what I did to that child.
Wow. So what led to healing? Because it wasn't right away.
No. And I think I just kind of numbed myself. And of course, we were going to church. We actually got married before the second child was born, before the first child on earth was born. And we were going to his church and continued going to other churches when we moved away with the Coast Guard. And what led to healing? It took years. Like, I actually did share my story probably within 5 years with some other women during a women's retreat. It was a small church. So, less than 10 women. And another woman spoke up. That was me too, Michelle. Thank you for being brave. And that was the only time. And we prayed for each other and we blessed each other, that we had the guts to admit this, and we received that word of forgiveness from each other, but we never dove deep into all of what we did, all of our sin.
Mm.
And so it went years and years, and I never admitted it again to anybody. I never admitted it to another pastor. Oh, I did talk to my sisters finally and let them know what happened. And I finally, at church, 3.5 years ago now, I kept seeing ads on the church screen that were talking about a healing group that was going to happen. And I felt like, well, it's been over 20 years. It was almost 30 at that point. And I thought, maybe I should really do this. Maybe I should really do a Bible study.
Mm.
And so I did. And that was with Linda.
Yes. And what
And
was
you,
that process like for you?
yeah.
Oh, I was ashamed to go, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, I'm all in. And that's how I usually have been because of the Coast Guard. I've always had this mentality, go, 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 get it, get it. You can do this. You can do this. You can do anything. But I signed up with that idea that I could do this small group Bible study, forgiven and set free. But when it came to the night to actually go to the meeting in person, and by this time, 2021, COVID had calmed down. We didn't have to wear masks anymore. I remember telling myself, maybe you could still wear a mask.
And hide.
Love it.
Maybe you could hide. So it was nerve-wracking to walk into those doors, but it was absolutely amazing to finally talk about my abortion and to hear other women talk about their abortions, and just to receive love, only love, no condemnation.
Mm.
It
And
was
by this
absolutely
point, you were
freeing.
in a second marriage.
Yes.
Tell us about how it impacted your second marriage when you went through the healing.
Well, my husband, so he had known about my abortion. I can't remember how long already, but I was by that I've been free with him about that, and he's never made me feel condemned.
Mm.
And he gave me the space every week to do my homework, to go to the meetings. He was always blessing me. He would listen to me after the groups and help me just release the things I was learning and process some of the difficult parts of it. And so for him, I don't know if it changed him at all, but for me, just being able to talk to him freely about this ugly part of me blessed me tremendously,
Mm.
and really helped me to know love,
Mm, isn't that
Yeah.
beautiful?
good
Yeah.
love.
So today, where are you? So it was just a few years ago you went through this for your first study. And today, where do you think you are within your process and the healing?
Um, in the process, I am seeking out helping other women and men. I am not afraid to tell my story. I've gathered other people to go through groups with me, and I'm enjoying helping out with the deep and even place. I'm waiting to do another group in the fall, and I really want to charge this mountain. I've spoken with my pastor and hopefully going to be able to chat with him again soon about how absolutely necessary it is to address the abortion wound in the church, and how it would absolutely bless so many people that are sitting in the pews today. Because I was one of those who was just faking it to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's so many more out there.
I hear that
And
as a real theme, even right after the abortion, having to go to this island to have a vacation, and then being at the your birthday party, and all along the way, probably nobody from the outside saw you as going through all this. You were faking it till you make it
yeah,
all the way through. Michelle, one of the things that stands out to me as I watched God work in your heart as we went through the study was joy. It was just bubbling out of you. It was like, okay, the veneer is gone. I'm not having to fake it anymore. I can be real. And that joy. And I remember that even before, I think we were only 2 or 3 weeks into the study, and you were calling your sister to get her to be involved in a study and reaching out to others. And that joy was just bubbling over on everybody. And it was a beautiful thing to watch.
yeah, it was, I mean, absolutely transforming to go through it. I mean, some of it was super difficult, and especially the celebration of life night. Um, that moment of closure, I wanted it so bad, and yet coming to it, I was in tears. And I was so nervous about it all. I was so nervous about getting it right. But that celebration time was just beautiful. I love sharing my story with other women so that they can get the freedom from shame that I know that they're in. I mean, I was in so much shame. I thought if anyone ever told my story, that would completely devastate me. And now I see the truth that it doesn't devastate me. It brings life, and
Mm-hmm.
it brings life to other people as well. I'm just so grateful.
Mm. That's so beautiful. And I think on that note, we're going to end our time together with you, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing your story, being vulnerable, um, telling some of the details. And I just pray that whoever hears this that needs to hear your story that can connect to it will have some courage to take the next step and get into a study.
Yes, me too.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was inspired by the many conversations had through the years with women struggling from the emotional pain associated with abortion. Thank you for allowing us into your healing journey. Subscribe on major platforms where podcasts can be heard. Learn more about virtual abortion recovery healing at www.anevenplace.com. The link is in the show notes.